Daniel was a human engineer, posted on the far edge of known space. The frontier colony was a strange place where different species lived together, but never truly trusted each other. Humans had come only recently, while the alien clans had lived on this world for centuries. The fragile peace between them always felt like thin glass that could break at the smallest touch. Daniel had never thought of himself as a hero. He spent most of his time fixing machines, repairing power lines, and making sure the colony's equipment stayed alive in the harsh climate. He preferred quiet work, far from politics and the constant arguments between species. Yet fate had other plans. One evening, as the sun dipped below the rocky horizon, Daniel walked home from the workshop. The air was dry, filled with red dust that stung his eyes. He heard a faint sound, like a whimper, a cry muffled by pain. At first, he thought it was an animal. But then he saw movement in the shadows near the old storage sheds. He rushed closer and froze. There on the ground lay a small alien child. Her skin shimmered faintly under the pale light, covered in strange patterns that looked like silver veins. Her breathing was shallow, and her eyes flickered weakly. Around her were marks of a struggle-burned soil, claw scratches, and broken weapons. Raiders had passed through, leaving destruction behind. Daniel knelt down. The child tried to move but let out a weak sound. Blood-thick dark and strangely luminous covered her arm and chest. He had never seen alien blood before. But one thing was clear. She was dying, without wasting time. Daniel carried her in his arms and ran toward the medical wing of the colony. The staff inside, a mix of humans and alien healers, rushed forward. When they saw the child, alarm filled their faces. One of the alien doctors, a tall figure with 4 arms, hissed sharply. "She belongs to the Sereth clan," the doctor said. "She is the daughter of their matriarch. She cannot die here." Daniel watched as the healers worked quickly, scanning the child and speaking in hurried tones. Finally, one of them turned to him. "Her blood is rare. We have no match among her kind in this colony. No medicine will work without a transfusion. Then find someone from her people," Daniel said, panic in his voice. The doctor shook his head. "No one is here who can match her type. She will not live another hour." The words struck Daniel like a blow. The child's chest rose and fell weakly, each breath smaller than the last. Everyone stood frozen, unsure what to do. Then Daniel spoke. "What about me? My blood?" The healer stared at him as if he had gone mad. "Human blood has never been tested with her species," one said. "It could kill her faster than the wound." Daniel's jaw tightened. "Or it could save her. I'm not asking for safety. I'm asking for a chance." The room fell silent. The machines beeped steadily, reminding everyone that the child's time was slipping away. Finally, the lead healer gave a slow nod. "Very well. But you must understand. This fails. You may die with her." Daniel didn't hesitate. "Do it." They connected the transfusion line. Daniel lay on the bed beside the child, his arm linked to hers by thin tubes carrying blood between 2 very different beings. He felt his strength drain slowly, replaced by a strange warmth, as if his life itself was being pulled toward her. Minutes passed like hours. The healers watched every signal on their screens, waiting for a reaction. At first, nothing changed. The child remained pale, her breathing shallow. Daniel's vision blurred, but he held on, refusing to let go. Then it happened. A soft glow spread across the child's skin, and her chest rose in a deeper breath. The monitors beeped stronger, steadier. The healers gasped. "It's working." One whispered. Daniel let out a shaky laugh of relief, even as weakness spread through his body. He felt like the universe had taken something from him but given something greater in return. By the time the transfusion ended, the child's color had returned. She slept peacefully, her tiny hand resting against the blanket. Daniel slumped back, exhausted but alive. Around him, the alien healers whispered among themselves, astonished. Word spread quickly through the colony. A human had given his blood to save the daughter of the Sereth clan. Some aliens were impressed, calling it bravery. Others muttered that it was dangerous, that humans had interfered in something sacred. Daniel ignored the voices. All he cared about was that the child was alive. That night, as he rested in the dim medical room, the door slid open. The atmosphere changed instantly. He looked up and felt his chest tighten. A towering alien woman entered. She was unlike anyone he had seen her form, graceful yet terrifying, her eyes glowing like molten gold. Armor marked with clan symbols covered her body. The air around her seemed heavier, as if her very presence carried authority. Everyone in the room bowed their heads. Daniel did not move. He simply stared. The woman approached the bed where the child lay. She knelt, brushing a hand across her daughter's forehead. For a moment, her face softened. Then, she turned her gaze toward Daniel. "You are the human," she said, her voice deep and commanding. "The one who gave his blood." Daniel nodded. "Yes, I only wanted to help." The alien mother studied him for a long moment. Her eyes seemed to pierce through him, weighing every word, every action. Finally, she spoke again. "In saving her life, you have done more than help. Among my people, such an act is no gift. It is a bond. You have tied yourself to my bloodline." Daniel frowned. "I don't understand." She rose to her full height, towering above him. "You have saved my daughter. And now, human, you owe a debt that cannot be escaped. A debt, our kind calls. Terrifying." The room was silent after the alien mother's words. Daniel sat upright on the medical bed, still weak from the blood transfusion. His heart pounded in his chest, not from fear, but from confusion. "I don't understand," Daniel repeated carefully. "I gave my blood to save her. That's all." The towering alien woman's golden eyes did not blink. "Among my people, blood is not just life, it's duty. When you gave yours, you did not only save her body. You became part of her survival. By our law, you are bound." Daniel shook his head. "I didn't mean to bind myself to anything. I only saw a child dying and wanted to help." It's hard. Intent does not matter. Action is what we honor, and action is what binds. You are tied to her future now, whether you wish it or not. Daniel wanted to argue, but he saw the small child breathing peacefully on the bed. Her tiny chest rose and fell with strength that had not been there earlier. His heart softened. He could not regret saving her life, even if it meant trouble ahead. The alien mother finally spoke her name. "I am Sareth, matriarch of Clan Vera. The girl you saved is Lyra, my blood daughter and heir." Daniel almost laughed at the strangeness of it. Hours ago, he had been repairing a broken generator. Now, he was tied to the heir of an alien clan. The healers bowed low to Sareth, whispering words of respect. Daniel stayed still. He had no idea how to show respect in their culture. Sareth noticed and tilted her head as though studying him more closely. "You are brave," she said, "or foolish. We shall see which." That night, Sareth did not leave. She stood like a shadow near her daughter's bed while Daniel rested. Though she said little, her presence filled the room. Daniel sensed she was testing him, watching how he behaved, perhaps waiting for him to run. He did not. The next morning, Sareth returned with her warriors. They surrounded Daniel and led him out of the medical wing. The streets of the colony were filled with whispers as humans and aliens alike watched the strange procession. A single human walking among armored alien guards was a sight none had ever seen. They arrived at the alien quarter of the colony, where tall spires rose into the sky, decorated with banners of the Vera clan. The buildings looked less like homes and more like fortresses, sharp and proud. Inside the great hall, Sareth stood before her people and spoke in her language. Daniel could not understand the words, but he understood the reaction. The crowd gasped, then murmured, then looked at him with a mix of awe and suspicion. When she finished, Sareth turned to him and translated, "I told them you saved Lyra, and that you are now tied to her. They must see if you are worthy to carry such a bond." Daniel swallowed hard. "And if they decide I'm not?" "Then you die," Sareth answered simply, her voice without cruelty. Only fact. Daniel's chest tightened, but he stood tall. He was not going to show fear, not in front of these eyes. Over the next days, Daniel found himself living among the aliens. At first, it was like walking in a dream. Their food was strange but rich, their customs confusing. He learned quickly that their society is built on honor and survival. Weakness was not forgiven. Every action was judged. Lyra, the child he had saved, recovered quickly. She was curious about Daniel, following him with wide silver eyes. She often asked him questions in her broken human tongue. "Why you help me?" she asked one day. Daniel smiled faintly. "Because you were in danger. And no child deserves to be left alone in pain." She tilted her head, thinking hard. Then she touched his hand with her small fingers. "Protector," she said softly. The word made his heart ache in a way he had not expected. Not everyone welcomed him. Some warriors of the clan whispered that a human could never carry such a bond. They said Sereth's daughter should not rely on one so fragile, one who came from a world less harsh than theirs. One evening, a warrior confronted him openly in the training yard. The alien towered over Daniel, his skin lined with glowing veins of power. "You are no protector," the warrior sneered. "You are weak. You should leave before you shame us all." Daniel looked at him calmly. "I didn't come here to prove anything. I only came because I saved her life. That's all." But the warrior lunged, testing him. Daniel barely avoided the strike, stumbling back. He was no fighter, but he was clever. Instead of meeting strength with strength, he used the environment. He ducked under a swing and slammed a heavy metal bar against the warrior's knee. The alien stumbled, surprised. Sereth, who had been watching, raised her hand and ended the fight before it grew worse. She looked at Daniel with unreadable eyes. "You do not fight like us," she said. Daniel wiped sweat from his brow. "I fight like me. That's all I can do." For the first time, Sarath's lips curved slightly, almost like a smile. Days turned into weeks. Daniel became part of Lyra's daily life. He walked with her, taught her simple human words, and in turn, she showed him small secrets of her people. The bond grew stronger, even if Daniel did not fully understand what it meant. One night, Sereth spoke to him privately. The hall was quiet, lit by glowing crystals. She stood close, her golden eyes fixed on his. "You are still here," she said. "Most would have run by now. Why do you stay?" Daniel thought carefully before answering. "Because she looks at me like I matter. Because she trusts me, and I can't walk away from that." The first time Sereth's hard gaze softened, she said nothing for a long moment. Then she gave a slow nod. The colony was quiet, but Daniel could feel tension in the air. Rumors had spread that enemies of the Vera clan were planning to strike. They wanted to take Lyra, the child he had saved, and use her as leverage to weaken Sereth's clan. Daniel knew that if they succeeded, it could destroy everything he had fought for. Sarath approached him as he prepared simple weapons for defense. Her golden eyes were serious, but there was a hint of respect. "You will face them, human," she said. "And what you do will decide if the debt you owe is fulfilled." Daniel nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. "I don't think of it as a debt," he said quietly. "I think of it as my choice." Sarath's gaze did not soften, but she did not argue. She led him to a high tower that overlooked the valley where the enemy would approach. From there, Daniel could see the movement in the distance. Small, quick figures moving through the rocky terrain, shadows in the twilight. He studied them carefully. There were more than he had expected, but he realized something important. They were relying on fear. They believed that a human would be weak, that he would not dare protect an alien child. That assumption would be their mistake. As the first raiders came into view, Daniel took a deep breath. He had no special weapons like the alien warriors, only his knowledge, his courage, and the human ability to improvise. He placed traps along the paths, tying wires to rocks and setting up small bursts of smoke and fire to slow the attackers. When the first raider stumbled into a trap, Daniel felt a spark of confidence. He used the chaos to his advantage, darting from cover to cover. Guiding the child and Sereth's warriors to safer positions, Lyra clung to his side, her small hand holding his. "Protector," she whispered, her eyes wide with trust. Daniel felt his heart tighten. He would not let anything happen to her. The enemy advanced. He was cautious now, realizing the human was clever and the Vera clan was alert. One raider broke from the group, rushing directly toward the tower. Daniel reacted instinctively, grabbing a metal rod and swinging it with all his strength. The raider stumbled, shocked that a human could move so fast and so decisively. Soon, more raiders came, and Daniel worked tirelessly, guiding the defenders, signaling for precise strikes, and using the environment to slow the enemy. The battle was fierce, but Daniel's determination never wavered. Each time a raider fell or retreated, he knew he was protecting Lyra amid the fighting. Sareth watched silently, her golden eyes narrowing in thought. She had seen warriors from her clan fight countless battles, but she had never expected a human to demonstrate such courage. Every decision Daniel made was deliberate, each move clever. He fought not for glory, but for a child's life. Hours passed. The raiders, frustrated by their failures and the humans' unexpected skill, began to retreat. Daniel, exhausted and bleeding from small cuts, lowered his weapon. Lyra clung to him tightly, whispering words he could barely understand. Sareth approached him, her expression unreadable. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she knelt before him, a gesture she rarely showed to anyone outside her family. "You have done what no alien would have expected," she said. "You fought not out of obligation, not out of law, but out of choice. You protected my daughter with everything you had. You have fulfilled the bond we call debt not, because law demands it, but because courage defines it." Daniel looked at her, unsure how to respond. "I never wanted debt," he said softly. "I only wanted to save her." Sareth's lips curved slightly. "Then, your humanity has done what alien tradition could not. You chose? That choice proves more than any law." Lyra, still holding his hand, smiled faintly. "Protector," she said again. Daniel knelt down to her level, brushing her hair back. "I'll always protect you," he said, and he meant it. Over the next days, Sareth formally introduced Daniel to her clan. The whispers about a human protector changed tone. Where there had been doubt, there was now respect. Humans, long seen as outsiders, began to be admired for the courage and loyalty Daniel had shown. For Daniel, the journey had changed him. He had started as a simple engineer, living quietly on a frontier planet. Now, he was part of a family he had not chosen by birth, but had chosen through action. He realized that heroism was not about strength alone, it was about courage, choices, and the willingness to stand for others, no matter the cost. Sareth visited him one evening in the quiet of the clan hall. "You have done more than save a life," she said. "You have shown our people that humanity can be brave, clever, and loyal. You honor the Vera clan more than you know." Daniel smiled faintly, his body still sore, but his spirit stronger than ever. "I never expected any of this," he admitted. Sareth nodded. "None of us did. But you chose, and that is what matters most." From that day forward, Daniel became Lyra's protector in every sense. He trained with the clan, learning their ways, teaching them human ingenuity in return. Together, they prepared for the future, knowing that challenges would come, but also knowing that courage and choice could overcome even the greatest dangers. The colony began to change. 2. Humans and aliens who had once treated each other with suspicion began to see new possibilities. If one human could save a life, face danger, and stand honorably among alien warriors, perhaps there was hope for all. And Daniel, who had only wanted to save a dying child, realized that the bonds we choose can sometimes be stronger than those we are born into. Sareth no longer called his presence a debt. She called it a gift hand for the first time. Daniel felt that he truly belonged in this strange, beautiful, and dangerous world.